Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so get this. Every single time your foot hits the ground, your Achilles tendon absorbs up to 10 times your body weight in force. I mean, that's absolutely massive. So if you've ever hopped out of bed in the morning or finished up a brutal long run, only to be hit with this sharp, nagging pain right at the back of your heel, yeah, you know exactly how frustrating it can be. You might just brush it off as a generic ankle thing, but the anatomy back there is literally like a complex puzzle. Today, we're going to play anatomical detective. We'll pinpoint exactly what's causing that nagging pain by zeroing in on the precise location and the exact type of sensation you're feeling.
So here's our roadmap for today. We'll check out the high-stress heel junction, investigate Achilles tendinitis and bursitis, look at a structural issue called Haglund's deformity, explore our lateral culprits like tendons and nerves, and finally, we'll compare your specific symptoms so you can figure out what's really going on. All right, let's dive in.
Section 1. The high-stress heel junction. This is the scene of the crime.
To really grasp heel pain, we first got to understand the insane mechanical forces happening down there. We're looking at the exact spot where the massive Achilles tendon, or the tendo Achilles, anchors right into your heel bone, the calcaneus. Every single time you walk, run, or jump, all that force transfers right through this one spot. And because it's such a high-stress junction, we're dealing with complex biomechanics, not just a tired muscle. There's a whole bunch of hidden structures packed into this tiny space, and honestly, any single one of them could be the real culprit causing your pain.
Moving to Section 2, Achilles tendinitis and bursitis. Let's look directly at that bone-tendon connection for our first two suspects.
Suspect number 1 is insertional Achilles tendinitis. Now, we really need to distinguish this from regular tendinitis. Standard tendinitis usually pops up higher up the leg, right in the middle of the tendon. But insertional tendinitis, that happens precisely at the attachment point on the bone. What's actually happening is inflammation, or even these tiny micro tears right at the exact bone-tendon interface. It's literally wear and tear at the anchor point.
Now compare that to suspect number 2, retrocalcaneal bursitis. While insertional tendinitis is tearing of the thick tendon itself, bursitis is a completely different mechanism. See, you've got this tiny, fluid-filled sac called a bursa tucked right between the tendon and the heel bone to act as a cushion. When that sac gets inflamed, wow, the pain feels totally different. Instead of surface-level tendon pain, it's this deep ache that feels like it's hiding just behind or slightly to the side of the tendon. Figuring out if your pain is deep and hidden or right on the surface band is a huge first clue.
All right, Section 3. Haglund's deformity, also known as the pump bump.
Sometimes, you guys, the issue isn't even soft tissue. It's entirely structural. Haglund's deformity is a literal, physical, bony enlargement. It's an extra bump of bone growing straight out of the back of your heel.
And this is a perfect example of the domino effect in our anatomy. This extra bone doesn't just sit there doing nothing. It creates a massive friction problem. They call it a pump bump because of how rigid shoe backs rub relentlessly against it. This constant mechanical friction sets off a whole chain reaction, inflaming both the bursa sac and the Achilles tendon at the exact same time. Plus, if the bump is slightly off-center, it can actually send pain radiating right out to the side of the heel. Just one structural glitch causing a total cascade of inflammation. This is exactly why getting a proper biomechanics assessment and understanding a custom orthotics role in your footwear is absolutely crucial to relieve that friction before you even start physiotherapy treatment.
But let's shift gears for a second. What if your pain isn't dead center on the back of the heel? What if it's distinctly hanging out on the lateral edge, the outside of your ankle?
That brings us to Section 4, lateral culprits involving tendons and nerves. This introduces a totally new lineup of suspects.
If your pain is strictly lateral, meaning it's fully on the outside of the ankle rather than just slightly off-center, our prime suspects shift to the side of the leg. Enter the peroneal tendons. These run straight down the outside of the ankle. If you're getting a sharp or aching pain right in that outer zone, especially when moving your foot, peroneal tendinitis is a highly likely culprit. It's an entirely different tendon system.
But wait, there's another incredibly sneaky culprit hiding in that same area, the sural nerve. This nerve runs right alongside the lateral side of the Achilles. If you've got local swelling or old scar tissue, it can actually compress or trap this nerve. So, how do you tell a nerve apart from a tendon? You gotta listen to the sensation. Nerve pain speaks a totally different language. If you're feeling a distinct burning, a tingling, or a sudden shooting electric shock lateral to the main tendon, you're almost certainly dealing with sural nerve entrapment.
Which leads us to Section 5, comparing your symptoms. Time to put the puzzle pieces together.
This is where you can actually build your own differential diagnosis by cross-referencing exactly where it hurts with how it feels. Pain right at the bone-tendon interface with microtearing, that's insertional tendinitis. A deep, hidden pain behind the tendon, bursitis. A literal bump causing radiating pain, Haglund's deformity. Sharp pain strictly on the outside of the ankle, peroneal tendons. And if it's lateral but feels like burning, tingling, or shooting pain, that's the sural nerve.
So the big takeaway here, heel pain is literally never just heel pain. By paying close attention to the exact spot and the specific quality of the pain, you can actually tell the difference between a bone, tendon, bursa, or nerve issue. This gives you the power to really understand your own differential diagnosis. It's the absolutely vital first step before you even think about getting a formal assessment, exploring medical treatments, jumping into physiotherapy treatment, or grabbing custom orthotics to correct your unique biomechanics.
We've laid all the anatomical evidence out on the table, and I want to leave you with this to think about. Based on your own unique combination of location and sensation, which anatomical suspect do you think is really responsible for your nagging heel pain? Thanks for tuning into this explainer, and remember to always keep listening to the specific signals your body is sending you.